Hey everybody, well I finally did it. I finally ran a Facebook ad. Stay tuned and find out what happened next. So Facebook ads have always been kind of intimidating for me. I never really understood how they worked, knew there was some algorithm that was involved, and it was very difficult to understand. I read here and there that, the algorithms change over time. People focus more on engagement as opposed to likes and views and all of that type of thing. Until I came across a use case where I said, hey, maybe I could try some Facebook advertising. I'm working with a client who's an ex-professional football player, very well known, and very successful in his time. And since then, he's been a coach, he's basically been an educator, and now he's starting a webinar to share his information, specifically around defensive football. He was a linebacker for 4 NFL teams through the 90s and early 2000s, is now doing a set of webinars called Cover 2. Cover 2 was a defensive formation that he was known for. He helped innovate it and led his teams to become successful. So at any rate, he wants to do this. So we decided we're going to launch a website. We're going to do some webinars. And we've done it 2 or 3 times. And the first time he did a webinar, he basically had all of his friends join. We had a very good turnout, but then they were his friend. The second one we did, we lowered the price. Mainly because we weren't getting a lot of hits. We did some email marketing, but we still had a price on it. And then we had a larger drop off in terms of registrations, maybe about 10 or so, and maybe about 4 or 5 attended. Needless to say, there was disappointing in the attendance, but the webinar itself was fantastic. And we got a lot of good content out of it.
All right, we got 3x1. All right, cover 2 versus 3x1 vertical routes. Okay, now we're talking about 3x1. We're talking about a trips formation. Okay, you have your number 1, 2, and 3 receivers there, and you've got 1 receiver aligned opposite, okay, of those receivers. Okay, now the concept of the vertical routes in 3x1 is to get Y up the middle of the field, pretty much in the seam or kind of outside the hash marks between the numbers and the hash, and then an outside release on the outside by the X receiver. But this is just a basic, all right, verticals out of 3x1. And here's an example of, okay, we've got cover 2, we've got the middle read player getting down the middle of the field and wants to be slightly behind number 2 and number 3, number 2 here and number 3, as they work up the field. And the reason he wants to have that positioning is so that the quarterback has to throw the ball high, all right, a lot of air underneath the ball to try to fit it in to get a completion to either number 2 or number 3, okay? When played correctly, here's what your outcome should be. All right, should be intercepted. Right? Let's bring that back. And you can see how they're playing. He's opening, having vision, all right? This is a soft play by this guy, but you'd like to see him hang right here, let this route climb on you a little bit more, okay? And then he wants to be in the throwing lane, and he wants to be in the throwing lane to force a high throw. High throws equal easy reads for the 2 safeties that are playing deep. If they get easy reads, they're able to get a break on the ball, they're able to get the interceptions and do those things that we talk about in terms of finishing. Okay. Intercepted. Okay.
The third time somebody said, hey, why don't you try Facebook? Why don't you go where his audience is? And I said, well, how do we kind of do that? And he says, look at Facebook advertising. So I took a look at it, look at the pages and try to understand it. And then we said, why not? Let's go for it. So we created a Facebook ad. We created a form along with the ad. We set a budget for $75. We set our target audience that came out, American football coaches, American football players, college football players, high school coaches. Kept going narrow and narrow. We still got to like 93 million. We narrowed a little bit more, and then we launched. And in 24 hours, what we thought would be just a kind of shot in the dark, we got over 21 registrations of people who are interested. We even got some engagement on Facebook, people writing and saying, hey, my son is a quarterback. He plays on the offense. Is he still good to come to this? Can he learn something from this webinar and call an audible when he reaches the line of scrimmage? And we thought that was fantastic. That's exactly the type of audience we want to get engagement with. And of course, we responded saying in the affirmative.
This is the Cover 2 Facebook page, Cover 2 Guru on Facebook. And you scroll down, and this is the ad that we placed, or a version of the ad. This is actually a post, but the ad was similar. And it basically highlighted the webinar, the time, branded the webinar series, and gave links to registration and filling out a form. When users filled out a form, they were able to register their interest. If you look at the ad manager, or Facebook ad manager, or advertising summary, you can see that in 2 days we have spent $15.61. It says in the last 60 days, but it's actually only been 2 days. And we've reached 4954 people and 132 post engagements. But the main thing here is that we have 41 Facebook leads. And if you click on the results, you'll see these are the names, and it gives you a cost per lead and the amount of people you've reached. And over here are some metrics. It tells you the gender breakup and the age breakup of respondents. It also tells you where most of the respondents viewed the ad, and it said 99.2% on the mobile. And it also gives you by location where all of the respondents are from. As you see, it's overrepresented from Texas and Georgia, and then drops from there. And if you look at the ad itself, you see that this is how it's all laid out. And as you come down, as you put on the image, you put on the text, you set your audience, and you see the audience had consistently other aspects of the people. These are the people that we were able to target: American football coaches, size 82,000, American Football League, 428,000, and so on. And then you were able to see the ad, and of course make the payment. So that is basically the Facebook ad, and it's only day 2, and we've got 41 registrants, and we have another 2 days remaining before the webinar, and then after that, the ads will continue and on-demand replay.
So we're waiting. We have 3 or 4 more days until the actual webinar happens. The ad is going to run for 7 days, so it's going to actually run over the time when the webinar is. However, that link will go to a replay or on demand for the webinar, so people can watch it afterwards as well. So stay tuned for more information, and we'll come up and I'll keep everyone posted as to how our progress is. By the way, if you like this video, click like, subscribe, and follow. If you want to join the webinar, click the link below and join the webinar and register, and we'll see you on Thursday, March 26th. Thanks a lot for watching.